In this video, we're going to discuss building a team and the two types of teams you can build, as well as the methods I would recommend for going about doing that. So why is building a team important? So as I've said before, there are some lone wolf affiliates out there who make 4 figures, 5 figures per day profit, but the majority of them, and especially the ones who scale up to 6 figures a day profit, are the ones who have a team. So having a team is literally duplicating yourself. You're taking your time and focusing it on profit-focused tasks like getting new campaigns, building out new relationships, business development, things that allow you to go from having these really small $100 days to having these $10,000 profit days. Building a team is really what allows you to do that, and to do it with much, much, much less headaches than people think. And I know that a lot of internet marketers are, once again, types of introverts mostly, but getting out there and building a team can allow you to live a lifestyle where you don't have to be in the office all the time, but the profits still keep coming in because you've built out an actual business. You're not just self-employed. So why can't I just do it all by myself? And I just want to say you can. You absolutely can do this business 100% by yourself and not need a single person to help you. The point is just that you won't make as much if you choose to do that. Now, let me ask you this. What would happen if an entire McDonald's ran with just one person? McDonald's would not be the multi-billion-dollar company it is today. Obviously, you probably don't want to become a multi-billion-dollar company, although that would be nice. Building a team can help you get to 8 figures, 9 figures, much more easily than you would think. There are so many affiliate marketers who start out small, making $100 a day and go on to build these teams that they're not even massive companies, but these teams that make them 8 and 9 figure profit businesses. It's really just incredible. And it's one of those really rare unicorn industries where you find that type of profitability on such a lean staff and model. So, I just think that building a team is a better option than doing it yourself. But I am going to say that you can absolutely do it by yourself if you choose to. So isn't it expensive to build a team? It totally depends. And this also partially depends on your perspective. In my opinion, it's more expensive to do things by yourself because the amount of money that you're losing by not having a team is you're losing money that you didn't even know you were losing because you're not making that money. So if you want an in-house team or an office like I have, you're going to pay a premium for that. Now, my entire operation had an overhead of $15,000 to $30,000. And this was per month, and we were still quite small, so it can be pricey. I think in my most expensive month, I paid out maybe 50 or 60,000 in expense, and this was not even including traffic. This was just for employees. And if you just want a team and to outsource the petty work, you can do that for pennies on the dollar. And this is how I recommend you get started. You can build a team with outsourcing for literally as small as $200 to $300 per month by using outsourcing. So let's talk about the benefits of an in-house team. Now, if you want to build an in-house team, you're going to want to hire media analysts to act as media buyers. A lot of people go out there and they'll try to hire affiliate marketers or media buyers. No, what you want to hire are media analysts, and this is the proper term for people who buy media, so whether that's online or offline media, and they analyze the data and then make adjustments to those media buys. These are called media analysts. And these are people who do this for a living and have done this for a living, preferably for quite some time. Now, you're also going to eventually want a COO or a Chief Operating Officer or Chief Operations Officer or a Director of Operations. It's probably cheaper to advertise that job role as Director of Operations when you're getting started. The final thing you're going to need is you absolutely must have an accountant if you build an in-house team. Costs can very quickly catch up to profits when you have overhead. I was recently talking to a friend who is in the media buying space, and he has his own e-commerce offers, and he was literally bleeding about $20,000 a month because he had this great setup and this great team, but he had no accountant. So he was guesstimating his numbers. And once he sat down and actually wrote everything out for How much money am I actually making? How much money am I actually spending? It just blew him away. I mean, he literally went into panic mode, and luckily he got it worked out. He hired an accountant. But I would even recommend an accountant for somebody who is doing this with outsourcing, simply because in the long term, staying on top of your funds and your finances with your business is so, so key to success. It's worth the money to just pay for it. So moving on, some of the benefits of an in-house team are that you can actually monitor what your employees are doing and how good of a job they're doing. So there are tools out there where you can kind of record outsourced workers' screens, but there's ways that they can get around that. And I mean, they can literally have one of their staff sit there and just mess around with the mouse, and it looks like they're doing something and they're not actually doing anything. And the other point is that there's a difference between doing something to keep yourself busy and doing something that's actually producing a good result and actually worth the time or being productive. The other thing I'm going to say is you also have the ability to provide hands-on training to those that you can supervise. So this is especially important to directors of operations that you're going to want to hire, as these people are essentially going to end up being a clone of you and overseeing the entire business. And by the way, this advice that I'm giving you is not just something that you can use specifically for CPA. You can take this in Shopify, Amazon, consulting, local agency work, web design. Everything that I'm telling you right now, you can use for any online business, and you're going to get massive, massive results with. I actually did a YouTube video about this on the Drip Revenue YouTube channel, talking about why having a team and infrastructure is really the key to hitting 7 figures a year in net income. So if you do want to hire people for an in-house team, I recommend AFJobs.com, which is owned by SDM or Stack That Money. And it's an excellent place to find people who have a lot of industry experience, as well as potentially even get yourself a job as a media buyer or as somebody who can work inside of an affiliate marketing company and then learn from working there how to do those things on your own and go out and build your own really successful affiliate business. You can also try Monster and Indeed job platforms. Just make sure that they have a lot of industry experience or an extensive education and background in the space, preferably both. Now, the final point that I want to make is expect to pay a good amount in salary and get set up with a payroll company and get yourself a nice office, nothing over the top. But I think I started with roughly 700 square feet for my first office, and then I moved to 2,000 plus square feet. And that office accommodated 8 people very comfortably. Now, to switch up to the office that was 2,000 square feet and get the furniture and everything like that and to hire people, it cost me about $100,000 up front. Now, you can do this for much, much less. I actually got out and got nice furniture, good staff, people who are qualified. And you can go out and maybe even recruit people who are friends or family and teach them how to do this, and you can get yourself set up in a much, much better position for much, much less money. So $100,000 is not necessarily the average or the norm, and I don't want you to think that that's something that you have to do. Once again, building an in-house team is optional, although I recommend it as an end goal. So let's move on to talking about outsourcing. So for those who are just looking to make a good deal of money from the comfort of their own home, or those on a budget, or both, I recommend the outsourcing approach. Now, you can use websites like Upwork and onlinejobs.ph to build a team for as low as $200 to $300 per month. I've had teams that are $100 a month and are multiple people. So it's possible to do. You just want to focus on getting somebody who's quality. So make sure you do a Skype voice interview and make sure that the person can clearly speak and write in proper English. This is very, very important. If you want somebody to be making landing pages, building out WordPress sites, doing web design, you obviously want people who are using proper grammar and spelling. If they can't do that, then that can throw off the users of your website and make them way less likely to convert. So make sure that they can clearly, speak and write in English. It also makes it easier for you to communicate with them. So moving on here, when you're using onlinejobs.ph, I just want to mention, make sure that you message their previous employer and get a review of what it was like to work with that person. I have messaged certain employers who have literally saved me from signing up basically for a scam and losing my money. And I have messaged other employers and they have led me to hiring people just from the amazing review that they left. So I recommend it just as kind of a due diligence type thing with onlinejobs.ph. I think it was $97 a month when I first started on there. And it came with a full-on coaching service for my employees. It did background checks. It told me when they look like scammy or fake profiles. I mean, it does a lot of the due diligence for you, but this is just an extra step. And the final point is that there are a lot of fraudulent and low quality Filipino virtual assistants out there. And this is not just the Philippines, it's anywhere, Pakistan, India, all of these countries out there where you can get VAs or outsourcers to work for you. There's a lot of fraudulent and low quality ones out there simply because, I mean, it's just part of the internet. I mean, it's just low quality and fraudulent stuff, people scamming, and it's impossible to get rid of that on the internet. But once you find a good outsourcer or virtual assistant, it will pay off for you tenfold. So final slide here, ask them to complete a sample task and make sure they do exactly what you want on the first try. Otherwise, you can expect to have to deal with them like this when you're paying them. If they can't do it right when you're not paying them, when you're paying them, that's not going to change. Be cautious of slow turnaround times as well and tardiness. There are quote unquote virtual assistants who quietly have their own staff who actually do the work and are much, much slower. You do not want this, so be very careful of those type of people. Do your due diligence once again and just kind of sample them out and give them like a trial. At this point, please proceed to the next video to continue.